morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Today, I want to talk about two simple ideas that can change your life. Dream big and start small. We all have dreams, ambitions that light a fire in our souls. Maybe you want to build a company, write a book, change the world, or simply live a life filled with purpose. Big dreams are important. They give us direction. They inspire us to be more than we are today. But dreams alone are not enough. Many people stop at the dream. Why? Because it feels too far away, too big, too impossible. And that's where the second part comes in. Start small. Starting small doesn't mean thinking small. It means you take the first step, then another, and another. Great empires were built brick by brick. World-changing inventions began with a sketch. Every marathon begins with a single step. You don't need all the answers. You don't need a perfect plan. What you need is momentum, consistency, belief, and above all, the courage to begin, even if the beginning is tiny. Remember, the dream fuels your passion, but the small steps shape your progress. So I challenge you, dare to dream big. See beyond your current circumstances. Imagine the best version of your future. But don't just stand there looking at the mountain. Take the first step, even if it's small. Even if it's messy, just start. Because when you dream big and start small, you put yourself on the path to greatness, one step at a time. Thank you. Big dreams inspire direction and purpose. They are the compass that points us toward what truly matters. When we allow ourselves to dream beyond our current limitations, we begin to unlock parts of ourselves that often lie dormant. Our creativity, our courage, and our capacity for growth. A big dream acts like a lighthouse, standing tall and shining through the fog of doubt and distraction. It doesn't just give you a vague sense of a someday, and it clarifies the why behind your actions today. It becomes your reason to push forward when things are hard, to keep going when the path seems unclear, and to believe in something greater than your current circumstances. When you have a powerful dream, your mind begins to organize your thoughts, goals, and decisions around it. It gives meaning to your effort. You wake up with a sense of direction, not just going through the motions of daily life, but working towards something significant. Think of people who have changed the world in big or small ways. Every one of them started with a dream that seemed out of reach. What made the difference was not just their talent or resources, but their unwavering connection to that vision. Without a dream, it's easy to drift, to get lost in distractions, to settle for less. But when your dream is big enough, it becomes a source of energy and motivation. It gives you something to aim for, something that pulls you through fear, failure, and fatigue. It invites you to stretch, to learn, to grow. It pushes you to move beyond the safe zone and toward the life you truly want to live. Many people stop at dreaming because the goal feels too overwhelming. It's not that they don't want to achieve great things. It's that the distance between where they are and where they want to be seems impossibly wide. When a dream is big, it can almost feel intimidating, like standing at the base of a massive mountain with no clear path to the top. The size of the dream, instead of inspiring action, begins to paralyze it. The mind floods with doubts. Where do I begin? What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? These questions create a mental fog that makes the first step seem impossible. This is a common trap. People often mistake clarity for readiness. They believe they need to have the entire roadmap laid out before they take a single step. But big dreams, by their very nature, come with uncertainty. There's no straight line to success. It's a winding road with obstacles, pivots, and unexpected detours. If you wait until you feel completely ready or until every variable is controlled, you might never move at all. The weight of a big dream can also magnify fear. The bigger the vision, the higher the stakes feel. The mind begins to imagine everything that could go wrong instead of focusing on what could go right. And because of that, many dreams are shelved not because they are impossible, but because they feel too big to face. The irony is that the greatness of the dream becomes the very thing that holds people back. However, this paralysis isn't a sign that the dream is wrong. It's a sign that the dream is meaningful. Fear and overwhelm often show up when something matters deeply. The key is not to shrink the dream, but to find a way to approach it that feels manageable. That's where starting small comes in, because starting small breaks the spell of overwhelm and turns possibility into action. But before people can start small, they must recognize that being overwhelmed is not a weakness. It's a common part of the journey, and it means the dream is worth pursuing. Starting small makes dreams achievable. It's the bridge between imagination and execution. When we look at a big dream, it's easy to feel lost in the magnitude of it all. The scale can be so vast that we convince ourselves we need to make huge leaps from the start. But that's rarely how progress works. In truth, any great accomplishment is the result of many small actions compounded over time. Starting small transforms an abstract vision into concrete progress. It takes the dream from something you only think about to something you actually work on. Think of the process like building a puzzle. At first, all you have is the picture on the box and a scattered pile of pieces. If you try to put it all together at once, it's impossible. But if you find one edge, one corner, and begin placing piece by piece, the picture slowly comes to life. Starting small is like finding those first few pieces. It may not look like much in the beginning, but it creates the momentum you need to keep going. The beauty of starting small is that it removes the pressure of perfection. You don't need to have the full business plan, the perfect strategy, or all the skills in place before you begin. You just need to take action, any action that moves you closer to your goal. Whether it's writing one page, making one call, reading one book, or learning one new skill, every small step adds up. It creates forward movement, which is often all you need to gain confidence and clarity. Small beginnings are also flexible. They allow you to adapt, experiment, and learn without the fear of massive failure. When you start small, you can afford to make mistakes. And it's through those mistakes that you refine your vision and develop the resilience needed for bigger challenges ahead. It's like planting a seed. You don't expect a tree overnight, but with care and consistency, that seed becomes something strong and lasting. Moreover, starting small builds habits, and habits are the foundation of sustained success. A small, consistent routine aligned with your dream can yield far greater results than rare moments of intense effort. When you start small, you create a system. That system gradually reinforces your identity and builds the discipline required to carry big dream forward. Starting small is not the same as thinking small. This distinction is crucial. There's a common misconception that taking small steps means you're settling for less, or that you lack ambition. In reality, starting small is often the smartest and most strategic approach to achieving something big. It reflects humility, patience, and wisdom. Thinking small is about limiting your vision and doubting your potential. Starting small is about respecting the process and understanding that meaningful growth takes time. People who start small are not people who lack big dreams. They are people who understand that transformation is gradual. It's the seed of greatness, planted not with grandeur, but with intention and action. Perfection isn't required to begin, just the courage to take action. This is one of the most liberating truths you can embrace on your journey toward a dream. So many people wait for the perfect moment, when they have more time, more money, more confidence, or the right resources. They hesitate, waiting until everything aligns, believing that only then will they be ready. But the perfect moment is a myth. Life rarely, if ever, provides a flawless entry point. The longer you wait for perfection, the more likely your dream fades into the background of daily obligations, doubts, and distractions. The pursuit of perfection often disguises itself as a noble intention. I just want to do it right. But underneath that desire is often fear. Fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of not living up to the dream itself. It convinces you that it's better not to start at all than to start and risk making mistakes. Yet, every success story includes failure. Every expert was once a beginner who stumbled, got up, and learned through doing. The real failure is not in starting and getting it wrong. It's in never starting at all. When you let go of the need to be perfect, you give yourself permission to be human, to explore, to learn, to grow. You allow yourself to be in process instead of paralyzed. Taking imperfect action moves you forward. It opens doors. It teaches you lessons you can't access from the sidelines. And each small action builds confidence, not because you've done it perfectly, but because you've proven to yourself that you're willing to try. It's also important to understand that perfection is a moving target. What you consider a perfect today will evolve as you gain more experience. What matters most is that you begin with what you have, where you are. That first version, that first attempt, may be rough, awkward, even messy, but it's real. It's something you can shape, refine, and improve. Starting imperfectly is better than staying stuck in your head, imagining ideal outcomes that never see the light of day. Progress is made by people who are bold enough to act before they're fully ready. They trust that clarity comes through movement, not contemplation. They understand that action creates feedback, and feedback creates growth. So rather than obsessing over making the perfect first move, make the next small, courageous one. Because the act of beginning, not the illusion of flawlessness, is what truly sets success in motion. Consistency in small steps leads to big results over time. It's not the dramatic, all-at-once effort that shapes success. It's the quiet, steady commitment to show up day after day. This is a truth that may not sound glamorous, but it is incredibly powerful. Many people believe they need to make massive changes or take bold leaps to achieve their dreams. And while those moments have their place, they are rare. What truly transforms a life, a career, or a dream into reality is the power of consistency. And when you take small actions consistently, you build momentum. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable because repetition builds familiarity, and familiarity builds confidence. Even the smallest daily effort, 5 minutes of writing, 10 minutes of learning, 1 outreach email, compounds over time. What you're really building is a habit, and habits shape your identity. When you start identifying as someone who shows up and does the work, no matter how small, that mindset becomes the foundation for long-term success. Consistency also helps you develop discipline, and discipline sustains you when motivation fades. There will be days when you don't feel inspired, when progress seems slow or invisible, when you question whether it's all worth it. It keeps you anchored to your goals, not because every moment feels thrilling, but because you've made a commitment to the process, not just the outcome. This approach also allows you to make incremental improvements. Small, repeated actions give you the opportunity to learn and refine. Instead of overwhelming yourself with pressure to be excellent right away, you can focus on getting just a little better each day. Over weeks and months, those small gains become significant. That's how skills are built. That's how businesses grow. That's how confidence is earned. You don't have to be extraordinary on any single day. You just have to be consistent over many. And perhaps most importantly, consistency builds trust with yourself and with others. When you prove to yourself that you can stick with something, even when it's hard or inconvenient, you strengthen your self-belief. You stop seeing yourself as someone who quits when it gets tough, and start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. Others begin to notice, too. Opportunities, support, and credibility follow people who are consistent. They become reliable, dependable, and respected, not because they're the loudest, but because they're the most steady. Combining bold dreams with small daily actions is the formula for success. It's the harmony between vision and discipline, between imagination and execution. A bold dream gives you a sense of direction. It pulls you towards something bigger than yourself, something that ignites your passion and challenges your potential. But that dream, no matter how vivid or inspiring, remains just an idea unless it's backed by consistent, tangible effort. That's where small daily actions come in. They are the practical expression of your commitment to your dream. This combination works because it grounds your ambition in reality. Dreaming big keeps your spirit alive. It gives you a reason to persevere when things get tough. It fuels your imagination and helps you think beyond limitations. But it's easy to become a permanent dreamer. Someone who talks a lot about possibilities but struggles to make real progress. On the flip side, small daily actions without a larger dream can feel directionless. You might stay busy, but without purpose or excitement, it leads to burnout or stagnation. But when the two are aligned, when your daily actions are connected to a bigger purpose, you unlock sustainable motivation. Taking small actions every day gives structure to your dream. It breaks it down into tasks that are achievable and measurable. It allows you to track progress, build momentum, and make adjustments as needed. Each small task becomes a brick in the foundation of your dream. With time, those actions start to accumulate, and before you realize it, you've made serious progress. What once seemed like a distant goal becomes a lived reality. Not because you made a single leap, but because you built it one piece at a time. This approach also develops resilience. Every small step, even the ones that don't go as planned, teaches you something valuable. You learn to adapt, to troubleshoot, to persevere. You become more invested in the journey, not just the destination. That's the secret of people who achieve great things. They fall in love with the process. They know that the dream is important, but the daily discipline is what brings it to life. It's not about waiting for a breakthrough. It's about creating one through steady, intentional action. And perhaps most importantly, this method of combining big dreams with small efforts makes your vision accessible. It allows anyone, regardless of background, experience, or resources, to begin. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to have all the answers. What you need is a vision that excites you, and the willingness to take one step today, then another tomorrow, and to keep going. That's how mountains are moved, one small step at a time, driven by the fire of a dream too big to ignore.